Hey everyone, welcome to Thoughts of Treasures. My name is Connie and this is my craft room. First I want to welcome you in. If you are new to watching me, please be sure to hit that subscribe or follow button so you don't miss out on any of the videos I put out. Usually put about 4 out per week. Different kits, different crafts, just all different things. Currently working on Christmas kits, so we have an awesome one that we are going to be doing tonight or today, whichever one you're watching. I'm so used to saying tonight. This is our snowman ornament. It's on the larger size, so if it's not something you'd like to put on your tree, just think about all the other options that you can use it for. But he is more whimsical, so we're going to paint this up and I'm going to show you how it's going to turn out. Again, my way is not the only way this can be done. You use your creativity and do it anyway. But if this is something you are interested in, comment the word snowman and I can get you that information. All of the kits that I do, well, let's say 99% of the kits that I do, because there might be one or two that are not mine, I do sell as a kit or as a project that you can do. And if you're interested, you're more than welcome. I do have a website, thoughtsoftreasures.com. It is not set up for at the current time, it is not set up for a buying. I do that on my live sales, which occur every other week, or depending, I put a schedule out. The schedule's on my Facebook page and also on my website. You can check it out. There are going to be some months where you might get one, you might get two, you might not get any, just depending on if I'm in town or not in town, or if there's other holidays in between. So, I kind of work around all that. But if there's nothing going on, I usually do every other week. Some months it's 3 times a month, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's none. We just got to go with that. But anyway, I'm going to show you my way and my interpretation of how we're going to do this. And remember, every kit that you do buy from me does come with an inspiration picture. However, that does not mean that's how it has to be done in the only way. It is an inspiration picture just for that purpose. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you my technique. And again, if you're not new to me, you've probably seen this many times. But I do like to show for those that are new. And this might be something that you didn't see. Just because we have seen it many times doesn't mean one person's like, oh, I've never thought about that. And sometimes as crafters, we don't think about telling people that. So I just start with a piece of sticky tape. This is, well, all tape's sticky. Make sure it's sticky. This is just painter's tape. It is from the Dollar Tree, so it does have a stickier sticky than you think it does. But I like to go ahead and put all of my pieces that I think, my berries, they're going to be red. My leaves, they're going to be green. I'm going to have different shades of green because I've got a green here and I've got a green here. So I'm going to put all the greens together. Then I know, like his nose is going to be, I was just going to say black, but we're not going to do it black, orange. Then we've got his little hat rim, which is going to be black. And then we've got his 2 little hands that are going to be white. This also prevents anything from falling or misplacing because, with some of these ornaments, they're tiny pieces. You don't want to lose any of them. Now, as for the rest of this, let me just show you what you got. You get a back piece, and then the front piece, just like a little kind of frame ring, and the little snowman itself. Now, I personally, anything that's going to be on the background that you're going to see, I like to start off by giving it a nice coat of paint. So, I'm going to paint the back of here, not necessarily this part, sorry, you couldn't say, not necessarily this part, because this part's going to be up against, and you'll never see the back. But this frame down here, you will. So I'm going to make sure that I do those 2 pieces black, and then our little snowman I'm going to set to the side. You want to put him on a piece of tape too. Sometimes also with the tape, here's just just does hold everything. However, when you're painting these little pieces, it's something easier to hold on to instead of trying to put your finger on the wet paint. I mean, we're crafters. We like to get messy. And then, let me take this off because I don't want to confuse y'all. There's a piece of the I did cut out on my Cricut this little Let It Snow. because I'm thinking I'm going to put this down here at the bottom, just like so. It's going to go right down here, and I think that's what I'm going to do. If you don't do that, I mean, you could always rearrange things and put your little florals down there, and then just have a bow at the top. I was thinking about doing that also. So we're gonna play with the idea and see what comes to my mind. Like I said, I'm a crafter. I change my mind. I am also a woman, so I will change my mind frequently. So I'm gonna start off very simple. We're just gonna do some black. I'm gonna get me a little bit of black on my plate. I just use a regular old styrofoam. I couldn't think of the word. And this is just apple barrel. Look, I have no preference on paints. This is our apple barrel black. I've got apple barrel, I've got folk art, I've got Americana. I don't know what it's called. I'm kind of curious what it was. I don't know what the name of it is. The thing, the Americana, but it's something. Deco art. Couldn't think of the name for a second. So, you know, I have no preferences. I don't go for the pricey paint. I just go for whatever. Now, if I was painting a painting of some sort, which would never happen, because I'm not that artistic, that, you know, I would use more expensive paints. I'm just using the inexpensive paints because it doesn't matter. But if you have a preference, I've never used the Dollar Tree paints, which, you know, aren't really expensive. Not really cheap anymore, just saying. I have never tried them, but I have heard that some are fine, some are okay, some are not. I have used the glitter stuff, and I don't think that's all that, but again, my opinion. And I'm just going to do the back. I don't know how much this is going to stick out. I'm not worried about the top of the frame, but I'm just, you know, it's just a few more little strokes of paint, so I'm just doing the whole bottom. If you feel at the end, oops, I forgot to do that, and you want all the color to be, I personally use black just because it covers everything and it's the back. You do not have to use black. You can use white. You can use whatever your intentions are, or your preferences are. You can do that. I just use black because it's simple, and then we have it complete. End of story. There's no rhyme or reason to my black part. I am going to do his little hat and his rim while I have the black out. So again, these are score marks. Technically, the cheeks are for decorative purposes, but you'll see what I do with that in a second. As for the hat, you know, we don't have to be so close and specific here. It's to getting to that, because there's going to be a hat rim that covers it up. So I'm just going to paint it just like that, simple. And then as over here, this whole piece gets done. And we all love snow people, snow men, snow women. They're just so cute. And yeah, they're not only for Christmas, but they are Christmassy. I'm going to give this a dry, because sometimes with the black it does require a little bit more. I'm not worried about this piece or the back piece, but for the top pieces I am. I want to make sure that we have a nice dark coverage. So I probably will go back in with a little more coat on those. I do want to make sure my big round is dried, only because I'm going to be flipping it over, and I already got that. I do use a silicone mat. It is in my link. It is linked in my Amazon store. If you are interested, it's a game changer. It just makes things so much easier. Protects your tables. It is easy to wipe up. The only thing I find that does not wipe up easy, it still wipes up, but not as easy, is chalk paint when it's dried. So like if you're drying your project chalk paint and you get it on your mat, you're going to have to really scrub and get it off. But the acrylic paint, and I'll show you here in a second how easy, look, we'll put some on there. You can just paint on it. Have fun. So I'm going to leave that dry. We're going to leave those things dry. And let me show you. Simple as that. Blam. Up it comes. Alright, next thing's up. Let's go. We're going to paint the front of this. I am going to do my background because I like the blue in the background. I'm not sure what color blue I want to use yet, but I'm thinking for a second. And I'm also thinking, do I want to do this more in antique wax? Or do I want to do it in, or do I just want to leave it as, well, I don't really want to leave it as is. I'm going to think about that a second. Let's concentrate on the blue and the whites. No, I don't want to do, oh goodness gracious, let's see. Do I want to do a bright blue? This is a true blue. Have I used this one yet? I have. I'm going to try the true blue. Hopefully it's not going to, you know, again, it's paint. We can always paint over. If we don't like it, we can put it in the trash can. I don't know, you know, it's just experiment, have fun. Oh, that's coming out. Maybe I should shake that up because we just spilled it everywhere. See, now this is the Americana Deco Art. I find this to be kind of thin, like the apple barrel, whereas the folk art paint is a lot thicker. And again, to each their own. It doesn't matter to me. We just go about our business. I did put paint all over here at the table. So I'm just going to paint this whole thing. It's going to be hidden anyway, so it doesn't matter. Maybe I'll use some nutmeg. Oh, that would be pretty. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Because I'm trying to think of, also keep in mind I have black lettering. If I decide to put that onto our frame here, so I can't use anything like, you know, we can't do black because you can't put black on black. So I just kind of want to keep it something lighter. If you're working with vinyl and antique wax, it is able to be done, but if you have sticky transfer tape, you are going to have the hardest time. And I can do a video on that, on easy ways to transfer. And let me just tell you, I did an event one time, was not thinking, and I did not fuzz my transfer tape. Oh my gosh, I spent the entire time just trying to get my transfer off of my, you know, onto the board. So, you know, you have to be mindful that wax is wax. Antique wax, it has a waxy grip to it. So I kind of like that. I think that's going to be awesome. And this is, let me see what color it is, besides I get it all over my fingers. I always keep a little baby wipe over here. So I always keep like a baby wipe stuck out, and then I just kind of rub my fingers on it, and it just gets it off. This is called True Blue by Deco Art. It was $4.67 and I don't ever get their paints on sale. I don't know. I always miss the sale or they never have them. But that is it. I find it to be kind of the consistency of your apple barrel, whereas I find folk art is a lot thicker. So anyway, that's that. I don't think I have anything else to do with blue. No blue, no blue, no blue. All right. Well, let's just put this to the side. I'm not even going to worry. Well, actually, I am going to dry it because I want to show you what I do. So whenever I'm doing, and again, this isn't anything, I just recommend it. When you are gluing wood to wood, you want that to be as smooth as possible. So I always recommend, even if you don't want to do 2 coats, getting yourself a sanding block. Again, this is from the Dollar Tree. Hardware stores have it. Lowe's, Home Depot, all of them. You know, it used to be cheaper at the Dollar Tree. We'll see what happens. Now kind of just go over it and make it smooth. So when you paint something, you're getting the paint. The paint is creating the fibers of the wood to come up, and you get that rough kind of feel. Now, I mean, I sanded some off, I think I'm okay with that. It kind of gives it a little bit of a lighter effect. If you want to get a little bit more, I kind of like that look. You know, just be mindful. If you want to have a smooth surface, then repaint this. But I think I'm going to leave it just like that because I kind of like it. You can also do it to the back of this. Just kind of gives it that smooth. So when things are smooth, you got glue to glue, it's smooth. There's no rough edges or anything that you have to worry about. So I think I kind of like that. It kind of gives it, you see how it gives it a little bit of shading kind of thing. There's other ways to do shading rather than painting. So there's one of them. We're going to put that to the side. I'm going to leave it. I think I'm going to throw some, what do you call it? Snowflakes kind of stuff on there. But we'll get to that in a second. I'm done with my blue. We're going to get all our other pieces painted, including our little guy here. And I'm actually going to clean this mess up over here that I got over on my mat. All right, let's get some white. And again, I'm just going to use simple apple barrel white. No special toner, no special name. It's just empty bottle of white. The only thing bad about these bigger bottles, like I said, you know, when you're running to the end of them, you have to get it all to come to the top. All right, so I know his little feet have to be done, and he has to be done. So with these, let's get back to the score marks. With these score marks on here, if you can tell, they're his cheeks. I know, big cheeks, but he's whimsical. And there's cheeks on here, and with that, you kind of want to see this ring so you know where to put your cheeks. It's more just for placement issues that you're going to paint on. So if you don't really want to see them, you don't have to worry about it. But in order to keep the paint from the score line is a cut in the wood. It's you have engraved and you have score. So the cut mark, the score mark is cut into the wood, but it's a thin, very thin kind of cut. So you can get the paint in here, whereas an engraved mark is a very deep, darker cut into the wood. They're easier to go around, but with what we're dealing with here, you don't want to have big engraved mark, and it takes longer. So I'm just going to take this, and when I get to that, you can do your pouncing method, or I'm just going to show you here with the brush. Don't jab into it, just kind of like brush over it. A little bit of paint at a time, offload. And you still may get some in there, but with this particular one, I'm not really concerned about because I'm going to cover most of it up anyway. And I just don't want to, if you got Archie, there's a lot of work to pounce. I mean, this guy's little, but I did one the other day and it was like humongous, and I'm going, all right, I'm done. And again, I'm not really concerned about getting to the tippy top, nor am I concerned about getting the white, the black on the white, or the white on the black, because it's going to be hidden up with the hat rim. So don't really, don't get your fine tip paintbrushes out and make sure, by the time you do all that, you're covering it up. Nobody's going to see that. And I'm just going to do a couple coats of this white. And I'm going to dry in between. After I do this one, I'm going to sand. Remember, there's a rough side, there's a soft side. I use the soft side, and we're just going to sand this down just because I want to get it smooth before I put my last coat on. Hopefully my last coat, we'll see. And that sometimes sanding it does make it easier to paint. Oops. Like I said, I'm not concerned about the marks, and like I said, I just covered them up. You can't see them, but that's okay. Voila. Alright, anything? Oh, yes, I do. I'm going to put him to the side to dry. And I'm going to come over here and get his little paws. Right hands. They look like little paws. And I'm going to do the same thing. I tend to use foam brushes just because, I don't know, habit. You can, you know, if you have a paintbrush, you feel more comfortable with paintbrushes. Some people don't like the foam brushes whatsoever. I feel like I have more control with the foam brush than the paintbrush, whereas other people say the complete opposite. To each their own. This is crafting. This is not a one-way street of anything. I personally, with the foam brushes, I like the fact that you don't get the the paintbrush marks, streaks, you know, the brush marks. There you go. I find it with the foam brush, it's just easier. But some people use the paintbrush marks as texture, as, you know, part of what they're trying to go for. So, you know, that's the problem I had with decoupaging for the longest time. I like the wrinkles. Each their own. But in crafting, we have to try. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you aren't good at it, keep going, keep going, keep going. When I started doing the kits, I kind of just did basic and really nothing else. You know, and again, you don't have to do anything. You can just paint them and have fun. Oh, you can have fun. However, you know, now I'm at the stage where I do try to do like a little more character to them, adding a little bit here, a little bit there. Not to everyone, but to some of them. And we just learn as we go. You can't get out of your comfort zone unless you try. That is the advice of the day. No. Everybody has their comfort zone, and then you can't take, you know, if you don't want to be taken out, you don't have to. Alright, I am going to use, for my berries, this is called Engine Red, and I just opened this the other day. I don't know why I've had it for so long. I really, really, really like the color of this. It's not like super bright. I've got and I was using this one. This is almost empty. Oh, I do have another one. This is bright red, but see the difference? Just sometimes it's like, ooh, that's a little too bright. I mean, I don't know. But I'm going to use a little bit of this, and this is folk art. Watch. I'm going to show you. You see how I hope you saw that. Let's try it again. Let me get up here. It's like, see how thick that is? Well, let's just use the apple barrel. I'll compare folk art to apple barrel. And just you can even see in the plate how thicker folk art is compared. I mean, it's okay, it's fine. If you want it thinner, you can water it down or use some water on your paintbrush. There's many ways to do it. Some people don't want it that thick. I'm fine with that at this point, because we're only doing little berries. And I'm going to use a little paintbrush. So I'm just dipping it in. I don't even need that much, but. And then we're just going to paint these up. We have 2 berries that go on the holly down here, and then we have 2 that go on the other piece. So while I'm painting these, I can tell you, if you want to check out my website, thoughtstotreasures.com, there you can find many different things, projects that I've done. You can search, and if you see something you like, you can then click on it, and it'll take you to the video where I actually made it. Again, a great reference guide to if you purchased a kit from me, but you lost the paper, or you wanted to see how I did something on there. I mean, there's many different reasons you could. You can go back and just check it out. I don't delete anything off. Some of the things that are on there may not have a video attached anymore, just because Facebook has deleted things off the lives, and that's where most of mine went, was to the live. we now have all of the videos over there that are going to YouTube. So if you're used to watching me on Facebook, you don't have to be, I do not believe you have to have a YouTube account to watch a YouTube video. I mean, I'm not sure, most of us do, but I don't think you have to have a YouTube account. I don't want to say 100% yes or no, but I don't think you do. Alright, let's see. We're going to use pumpkin orange for his nose. I know it's kind of like a little bright, but it's okay. But let's use pure orange. Let's try this one. Not pumpkin. That's a great way to see all of the things that I've done. What is this? Folk art? See, here's another folk art. It's like we got bubbles coming out first. But it's a great place to see the things that I've done, or you know, if you're looking for a kit, or if you're looking for a kit or something to do for Christmas gifts. You know, Christmas is coming. Other holidays are on there too, so you know, someplace to gander and take a look at things. Alright, I'm just going to use another little paintbrush, I know. Because this is just a small little thing. We got, and that's what I tried not to do, and I just did because I had so much paint on my, I do like to keep the edges of my pieces black. I like that dark look, and I don't want to have to paint everything, so but if anybody along the way has any questions, you are more than welcome to message me through Facebook. Please don't email because I suck at emails. I have probably like 500,000 of them that, I don't know, most of them are junk. Alright, let's get this dry. Now for my hollies, I'm going to do two that are light green, but I'm going to do one that's darker. Just to give it the offset, because this one's going to be layered with this one. I was like, which orange did I use? Let's do this one more coat. Alright, we're good. Let that dry. I'm going to decide on a green. I want to do a darker green on the bottom, which I think we're going to use amber green. And then I'm going to actually use a paint marker for the top one. And I'll show you why. Maybe hopefully it'll work out the way I want it to work out. Let's just use a sponge on this one. So this is going to be our longer one, and I'm just going to paint this green. Get that out of the way so I don't paint it. And just to let you guys know, I do record all of my videos, but I do not edit anything down. So if something doesn't work out, I don't hide anything, and I want you to see from start to finish. So yes, some of my videos may be long. I do apologize for that, but and there have been several where I oopsied or forgot something, or something didn't work out right, or I painted something wrong, put something, there's just, I mean, it's part of crafting. I'm not trying to hide anything. I want you to see we're all human and we make mistakes. And besides, I ain't got no time for that. I'm a little person over here. We're just a little business. So it's not that we have a team working for us to do the editing. Now who knows, in a couple of years, maybe it'll be different. Wishful thinking. So I'm just going to use this color. These are, and if you guys, again, this is in, and I tell, every time I use them, I tell you, these are, I don't know how to say the word, but that's what they are. They are linked in my Amazon store. If you would like to check them out, you can go to thoughtsofcreasures.com, click on my link tree, and check them out. They are a little pricey, but I'm going to tell you, these are the best markers I have yet found, and they are acrylic markers. Okay, one thing about tape. So they are acrylic markers. They're not just regular ink markers. But there's no or trying to get, I mean, they just work every time. They do have fine tip and bold tip, or rounded tip, not bold. But they do have like pastel colors and bold colors. I use the fine tip because that was how I actually found these. I was trying to find some markers that everything I had was like big bulky tips, and I'm trying to like paint little things, and it never worked. Now I'm just going over this a couple times because I want it darker. I'm going to give it a quick dry. They do dry quickly, and then the more, of course, the more you paint over them, that, you know, you get that darker color. So I'm just going over them a couple times. But that's how I encountered finding these. I was looking for a fine tip, and they happened to show up on Amazon, and I was like, they were a little pricey. I'm like, here we go, spending money, and it's gonna be the same junk that I got already, and I never looked back. Never looked back. So I always recommend them. Like I said, they are in my Amazon store, and if you're not sure how the Amazon store works, you technically, you know, just because I have it in my store does not mean that's what you have to purchase. You click on my link, you go to the Amazon, it takes you to my store, obviously, but then you just scroll Amazon like how you normally would, find what you want to purchase. If you want to purchase, you know, shower curtains, you're using my link. My link is, you know, on your cookie for 24 hours, so whatever you purchase then, I do get a commission off of, because I influenced you to go there by looking at these markers. It's also just a nice little thank you that we get paid from Amazon. I mean, is it buku bucks? No, it's not. It is just, you know, a few pennies here, a few pennies there, you know, depending on how much you spend, it'd be $1 or $2. It's almost like giving stars, giving gifts, you know, that kind of thing, without you having to actually spend any of your money, because you're already going to buy what you're going to buy. I think that's the most brilliant way to support people. Even if it's $1 here, $1 there, it's the best way to support everybody, and then that way I'm able to get supplies that I need versus, you know, actually giving me stars. So anyway, that is that. That's all the pieces. Okay, so now we got to work. That's all our pieces. We got everything painted. Now we're going to go back to this little guy. Oh, my nose itches. I think it means I'm supposed to fight with somebody today. No, I don't want to fight with anybody. I also have a Thoughts to Tumblers page. It has all our tumblers on it, and every once in a while in the live sales, I do a tumbler sale. I will, I'm not sure when the next one I'll be doing is, so, you know, I look for them, check me out, keep in touch with me. That way you can see when I do have a tumbler sale, because usually do them for $15 when I have a tumbler sale for the first person, $18 for anybody that else wants it. So you can check that out on Facebook as Tumblers to Treasures. And it's not only tumblers, but it is other things. We have 3D prints in there. And that's how it started with tumblers. All right. I know some people do toothbrushes, and let me just tell you, the last time I did a toothbrush, I had paint everywhere. And some people put them in little boxes. I'm going to this is all I'm going to do. Okay? I'm going to fill my brush up with some paint. Actually, I'm going to use some fresh paint. I always suggest using fresh paint because when the paint's been sitting there a while, it kind of gets clumpy. You doesn't look like it, but it kind of gets clumpy. I like to use, I'll even water some down. So I'm just going to spray some distilled water into my paint. So here's what I got. Oh, you can't even see that. So it's running. You want it nice and kind of runny. I'm just going to put it on, see how it is. And then I'm just going to, yes, I'm getting a lot on my finger. And I found this is the easiest way for me without splashing it everywhere. I mean, I'm just getting it mostly here, look. But that can be wiped off. Put as much as you want on. I think that's good. Now, if you don't like that, wear a glove. But I'm okay with that because that just wipes right on off. Voila. But you are left with same thing you would get with a toothbrush. I like it. And it's not everywhere. It's not everywhere at all. I like it. There's a little bit here, which again we can wipe off of our table. But I'm going to tell you, the first time I did it with a toothbrush, oh my gosh, I had paint all over. I've got a computer here. All over the computer. All over, I mean, things, my phone was covered. I was like, oh my gosh, we're not doing that again. So I was like, I stopped using that technique until I thought about it and I said, let's see how else we can do this. So like I said, some people use them in cardboard boxes and do the toothbrush, but I'm going to tell you, toothbrush to me, whew, that was not the way to go. All right, let's put that to the side. Okay, I'm missing a piece. Oh, here it is. I'm going to use this like a stain. We're not going to do this painted on. I'm just going to take a little bit of this in the plate and I'm going to use a baby wipe, kind of like how you would do the antique wax, except for, because I don't want this to be dark. Take our little baby wipe. We're going to dip in. And I'm just going to rub. Feel like it's too much in one spot, go to a different spot. Because I don't want it to be super dark, because I want to make sure my black letters stick out on it. And then we have our little frame. Perfect. Easy. Did I put too much in the plate? Absolutely. I always do. Give this a quick little dry. We're going to start assembling this. Make sure we got this all nice and dry. I'm going to, I have an entire transfer tape, little pieces, instead of using a big roll, because this is just small. It's going to fit on here perfect. I'm going to apply that on here first. I know where to put his little hands. So I'm just going to cut this off because I only need a little piece. And if this isn't something you have, a Cricut or a Silhouette, anything, vinyl cutting machine, I'm just going to give you a quickie because they're amazing and they're fun and everybody should have one. This is regular transfer tape. If you, like I said, I'm going to show you an example I think it'd be a cool video to show you with antique wax. But this is sticky, super, super sticky. If you fuzz this, I mean, and fuzzing just means, you know, it does, I mean, just fuzz it on your arm, fuzz it on your shirt, fuzz it wherever. It could be less sticky. Well, it still seems very sticky. But look how dirty and grungy it is. It doesn't matter. We're gonna stick this on. Now, tip, it's gonna come right off, right? Oh no, how do I do it? Flip your little guy over, and that's all I did. I don't have a brayer, I don't have anything. And we are just gonna simply pull at the bottom, right close to, and just constantly pull it off. So if you think your transfer tape is done, do not. Uh-oh. I screwed up there, but that's okay. We can fix that. Put it right where it belongs. That little E doesn't want to stick. It's okay. We got it. And then, and you can always put this on after, because my little L won't come off. It's close. It was cut close to the thing. I don't have a. All right, let's just get this on first, and then I'll show you how to fix it. So I'm going to put it right. I think here. Alright, I'm not going to put my E down yet, only because I want to fix it with the L. You see, I mean, it just came right off like butter. So I'm going to put my E on here, I'm going to line it up where I want it. Get it straight. Put it down. And then I'm just going to come back over here and grab my L. My L stayed on. And I'm just going to come over here and grab it again. And we have it on. So all I'm going to do is sit here and go line it back up. Moved it when I put my finger up. And when you line it back up, you'd never know that it didn't come up. So, you know, not everything is foolproof, but just because this is not sticky like it was, oh no, that's about it. I mean, it falls off, whereas before it wouldn't. It, you know, you can still use it. Don't think that it's, and that's how you really need it when you're using antique wax. But look at it. That's so cute. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. All right. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so pretty. Oh my gosh. All right. So let's start putting this little bad boy together. Oh, I just turned on. Sorry about that. All right. So I know for a fact that some of this is not going to be on this part. So I don't want to put glue all the way to the end. If you do, don't worry about it. It's okay. I am, however, going to put a lot here. And by a lot, I don't mean a whole lot. And I am going to get a nice ring around. Now, I like to do this just because it's a little frame. I put a lot more on than you really need. It's going to scoosh out. Scoosh out? I guess that's a good word. Now you do want to make sure, this one's a little bit more difficult because it's got the hanger at the top, and we want to make sure we get it straight. This wood glue will allow you to move it around a little bit if need be. I'm pretty happy with that. Make sure we're all flushy. Now I'm just going to go and I'll show you how you can fix this. Again, this does dry clearish, or clear. You know, I mean, if you get big clumps, you're going to see that. But a little bit, don't stress over ever getting every single little bit. All right, but see on the inside, I'm just going to take, and make sure I have a little. Look, our best friend right here is a baby wipe. We're just going to take and I may not be getting all of it up, but I'm just making sure that it's not clumpy because it's going to dry clear and you'll never know. And there we go. Looking cute. And then I make sure I put that over here. Even if I need it for something else, I always put it in the water. Let's see. Before we go any further, I'm going to let that dry for a second and we're going to concentrate on his little facial features. Because I'm going to use a little bit of pink. I'm going to use some pink polish, but I think I'm going to get it down a little bit. And I did just try, which I do like. This is like a little, and I use it only for this, so don't judge. Yes, it's stained. It's a little blending brush because I don't want everything to be smooth. I don't need much, so I'm just going to take this pink. It's a little bit bright, but I'm going to take a little bit of white and the pink together. And put some on there until I get the color I want. And I'm just going to make him some cheeks. They don't have to be perfect. They're just as is. Now to clean this, I'm just taking my baby wipe and getting all that paint off. It's going to be stained, and I'm okay with that because this one will be just used for the pink. I don't know if I'm going to use, yeah, I might use, wait till you see my paintbrush that I use for detailing. I mean, you can take it to the sink and clean it out, but I'm okay. As long as it's clean, we're good. It's just not as clean as it could be. It's paint. It's been ruined. Now I'm going to put him together before I do his face and his eyes and stuff. So I'm just going to put him in here. Oh, this looks so good. And then this is going to go up here. I'm just placing to see what I want to do and how I want to do it. This. And where's this hat rim? Goes here. And then his little hands we're going to stick right above. So it doesn't cover up the snow. And then his little nosy goes there. And then on top of that is going to be this. So before I go further, I'm going to decide if I want to do anything to him. If I'm going to leave him as is, just put some eyes on him. I think I'm going to put some white inside of our little things. So I am going to get some brand new white on my plate. I really have to get some white. Don't need much. And I'm just going to give it some character. You do not have to be, this is the brush I was talking about. The more you put in here, the harder this bristle gets, and I like that. So I'm just going to kind of go in here and put some white. It's almost like it's stiff. It's very, very stiff. Okay, I just went in and gave it a little bit of color. I'm going to do the same thing with this piece. Just around the edges. Some darker, some lighter. You know, don't have to be exact. Just to give it a little bit of something. We're going to put that on top. And then I'm going to, yeah, let's just put a little bit around his. Just a little bit on him there. So it's just going to kind of look like that. Just give it a little something. Now, before I glue him on, let me wipe this off because I don't really want this paint to dry in here. I'm going to take him. We're just going to take a little foam brush. I'm going to dip it in the paint, not get a whole lot on there. And I'm just going to go around. And just edge it. So it's just simply outlining it. I'm going to do the same thing with this little brim piece. We're just going to edge it around. So I'm just taking it, and you can put as much on as you want or as little. I'm not going for a whole. That's all I'm doing. We're done. I'll keep his nose. Oh, I forgot to do this little piece. Let's do this one too. Just give it a little bit of something. We're going to wipe this back off now. And that's all I do is I just wipe this off. We not trying to clean this anything because the stiffer it is, the easier it is to do detailing with. Alright, now we can start putting him together. I am using, like I said, this is the wood glue. Let me get it in the camera. Wood glue from the Dollar Tree, super glue wood glue. And again, you don't need a whole lot. I do like these little jars only because it doesn't take as long to get from your. This is almost empty. It's a little bit of glue. And we're going to stick him in here. He's going to go flush to the bottom. Make sure you center him where you want him. And you do have a little bit of time. This like any other wood glue, it takes 24 hours to adhere permanently or very, very strongly. I'm sure anything can be ripped off, but again, just a little bit on there. We're going to put his hat rim on. Now, he doesn't have a huge hat, so I'm going to put it on a little crooked. I like when they're crooked. Not crazy crooked, but just a little crooked. Well, that looks straight to you. It looks crooked to me. But anyway, then I'm going to put his little nosy on. Decide where I want it. And again, a little bit of glue.
Someone was detected at your porch.
And then, oh, there's Sydney barking. We're going to put his little hands close to his body, but I'm going to angle them so it doesn't hit the snow. So all I need is just a tiny bit, but here at the bottom. If it's at the top, no, don't worry about it. It's not going to. I don't want to cover up my let it snow. Okay, before I go any further, I am going to put my hanger on, only because I don't want it to hide or be maybe like a pain in the butt, get behind that thing. So I'm going to just get my little hanger. I'm going to add some beads to it. What color beads do I want? Just white beads? Maybe she should just use some white beads. I always like to put beads on. Let's just do 2 white. I don't have any. No, the blue I have is kind of, ugh. My chair's not rolling. So, again, hanger. I take my twine, fold it in half. You get your loop at the top. Doesn't matter if you stick it in the back or the front. I always go to the front. Stick it into your hole. You have your loop on one side, your 2 free ends on the other side. Pull it through. This gives you that flat kind of hanger. And then I'm going to put my little beads on here. I don't know what happened to. There it is. And I'm going to put my beads on here. And then I can decide if I'm going to put a bow on top of it or not, or if we're just going to leave it. I think for this one, I'm probably just going to leave it only because you got all that stuff up there anyway. Put the 2 little beads on top. I just think this kind of gives it a little bit of something, you know, just rather than just a piece of twine at the top. But if that's all you got, that's all you got. No big deal. And then we're going to knot the twine. And I double knot because look, your bead's going to come right off. And then I make sure, if you can see, perfect. So that way it's not going to come off. We cut this. I don't cut it way down. I just cut a little piece off. So far we got that. Now we're going to come in here. I'm going to line this up, and I kind of want to bring it up as high as I can. See, here's where a boo-boo happened. I need to paint the back of that black. Let me close these beads up before we drop them on the floor. And the reason is because look, you're going to see the wood behind it. I don't like that. I want it to match the back. So I'm just going to take a little bit of black, a little bit more than I needed, and I'm going to just paint the back of this black. Don't think I need to. You know what? While I have it, I'm not even going to judge, because if I put this in, I don't think you're going to see this one at all, but I have it there. Let's just do it. Line this real quick. And while I have the fresh paint, because I always say if you're going to do dots of any sort, use your fresh. His little footsie needs to be fixed. Why is there black? There's like a line on there. Alright. While you're doing, if you're doing any kind of dot or anything, kind of use fresh paint. Like I said, if it's been sitting there a while, you just never know. I'm going to decide, I think that's too big. Let's do something smaller. Let's see. So this is how I test. I just use the back of a paintbrush, I dip, and then I dot. And I'm like, that's what the dots you're going to get? I'm like, I kind of like that. Okay, that's not bad. We're doing it for his eyeballs, so I don't want something huge. I don't want something little. Again, go straight down. Try to think where I want to put his eye. There. And I always dip again. Oh, one got bigger than the other. Alright, that's good. Now he has little eyeballs. Isn't he so cute? I think I'm just going to leave him like that. Alright, so now we can go back and we can glue our pieces on. We're going to put this right here at the tippy top. And then we're going to put this piece right here in the center. And then our little berries. Put a little dot of blue there. And we're going to put our berries right there. And then, last but not least, let me see how I want to do this. Trying to see if I want to. I do want to put the. I don't want to put the berries on top of the greenery. I'm putting it underneath of the greenery. I'm just trying to see how I want to lay it. And then, of course, it's me moving it around. I got a clump of glue here. We're just going to wipe that off. And that's what you got. So let it snow. So if this is something you are interested in, and you do want the let it snow part, I mean, you can do anything you want down here. You don't have a Cricut. You can move that down here, put a bow at the top. There's other options, but this would be additional to the kit. But if you wanted it, I can definitely do that for you. So, but I hope you enjoyed making this with me. I think it turned out so stinking cute. I love it, and I hope it inspired you to maybe want to do your own. So, I will see you guys in the next video. Remember, thoughts become things and things become treasures. See you next time.